Just wasn't sure how close I needed to get.
Oh yeah, you're good. Fast and heavy and often. That is exactly how the Metal Summit likes to do things. And we are right immediately back at you with another TMS alumni and a friend and a family member. We've got Mr. Brandon Cook joining us. How
What's up,
are you,
guys?
brother? And thank you for reaching out.
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for hanging with me today. I'm really excited about chit-chatting with
Absolutely.
you.
How was last night, man? Because you got to play a little bit at the pre-party.
You know, I've played with Tyson a few times now, like, and every time he always sticks me in the great band, and I'm like, okay, I've got 2 songs this time. I'm really gonna actually have to practice these, like, so I'm working on Back in Black, right? And Angus has this really unique style of playing. He's like very bluesy. It's not like to a click. It's not like perfect, It's well, actually, I think Back in Black is to a click, but like he swings, man. He's like old school blues swing style player. Like got that groove, that pocket. Most guitar players don't play like that anymore.
Yeah.
So to play it right, so I'm backstage. I'm telling my friend Dakota Denman, like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing. And Jack Gibson, one of my favorite bass players, is listening. He goes, hey, I had the same problem working on this song. Oh man, it was so hard. And he's like, I only have a few notes, and I'm like, but the way that the pocket was, so it was really cool to just hear that one of my heroes had the same problem I was having, and but then when we got on stage, because we all put that time in, it was like real professionals, like it's what you do, and it just reminded me that I'm really having a lot of fun in this business, doing this right now, and kind of finding my own pace and my own artistry and stuff like that. Just really love getting to work with guys of that caliber, and I feel really honored to get to play with. Well, we had Jack Ivins on drums. He's a fucking killer drummer, and Jack Gibson on bass. Just one of my heroes, as I said. Me on guitar, Tyson on guitar. Tyson does everything equally well.
Yes.
It's just okay. Hey Tyson, you gonna sing this one? Yeah, I'll be fine. Hey, you gonna play bass on this one? Fuck yeah, dude! And it's perfect. Same with the guitars and the drums. And then we had Jason McMaster on vocal. And
bro.
Oh yeah,
take a minute to soak it in.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of still hitting me. I'm just like, I get all starstruck over these guys still, because I'm not like touring all the time and running into these guys like, oh hey bro, how's it going? And so like when I was on stage, I had just finished playing. I worked on that solo for fucking hours, and he's like, listen to this guy shredding on stage, man. This is amazing, and I was just like, I had my Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey, moment on stage, and it was really cool. It was just really awesome. So yeah, that was my experience last night, and then first of course got to talk to some really great people, and just I'm a very social person, so I like to like meet people and talk to them and kind of make things work.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel?
We were talking earlier about what projects you're involved in. So can you share what projects you're currently doing?
For the viewers at home, I was just picking my teeth. Sorry, but I'm back home. I have a couple of things, like Black and Blue is like my main gig right now, and we got a show coming up on April 8th with Quiet Riot in Winchester, Virginia, at the Back Seat, and that's going to be a really cool gig. I've never played in Virginia live, so that's going to be kind of cool. And after that, I have a bunch of tribute gigs. I don't remember all the dates on those, but like I have a Jukebox Heroes is a Foreigner tribute band that I play with, and Crazy Train is an Aussie band I play with, and then on April 28th, I have an original show with one of my songwriting partners named Sarah Moon, just killer sort of bluesy rock style singer, and we co-wrote a record together, and it's called Cut and Run. It's on Spotify and all the outlets. It came out last year. We just did our CD release party, and man, the response so far has been really good. The people have been really excited about that music, and it's very different from the Loyal Order. It's pretty different than anything I've ever done, like for my music. but she wanted to do like a, she brought all these really cool, like the Johnson Brothers. You ever heard of them?
I have.
It's like Chris, what's his name? The singer, Tennessee Whiskey guy.
Oh yeah, like I'm familiar with the band, but not as good with the details.
Yeah. So like she brought that. She brought Gary Clark Jr. She was like Aerosmith. All these really great bluesy rock bands. So it's like, so you want to make like almost a southern rock record, like a bluesy rock and roll, groovy record? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's fucking do it. I've been studying Guns N' Roses music for decades now, and love Aerosmith, love AC/DC and stuff like that. And the songs, she said she wanted to be kind of like the combo of like Aerosmith and Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
And so it has sort of modern production, but like classic sounds. And she's a very bluesy singer. So anyway, we have a gig with her on April 28th, and the band is just crushing. Some like guys from Portland that are really, really good. I can't remember who's on this gig, but like pretty sure it's Ryan Moore. Just really killer Phil Rudd style drummer, and but he's got a lot of different styles. My friend Tim Deck, who's from the Loyal Order, Sarah, and I think Jeff, the lead singer of the Loyal Order, is playing bass on that gig too. So
nice.
So it's a really good band. And then we got some other stuff coming up. We got a show. The Loyal Order has a show with Loudness on May 26th, and then we have a Loyal Order show where we're opening for ZZ Top on a cool festival in October.
Oh, wow.
I actually booked that show.
Nice.
Yes. I'm now officially a booking agent now.
Yeah.
But I felt really good about grabbing that from a very dear friend of ours named Eric Tweedy, who really believed in the band from the very beginning. And once he heard, that we were trying to book stuff, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, I want you on this festival." So that's kind of what I'm doing, like trying to get my original music really doing more shows and festivals and trying to get national level bookings and stuff like that. So that's my current passion.
Nice.
Take these amazing race cars that we have built for ourselves and put wheels on them and get them on the track. So
for sure. I mean, the last time that Angel and I had you on the show, there was a fresh Loyal Order music out as well with the new record that was coming out. So how's the response been since that's come out?
That record did really, really well. We got a lot of response on Spotify. We had 3 songs go to radio. And at that time, that particular radio was still part of Billboard. That radio, the secondary music charts, they was still part of Billboard. Billboard doesn't do those secondary radios anymore, I don't think. But we're still working with our same radio guy that helps us do our, calls the radio stations and says, "Hey, do you want to have this new song I have on there?" And he did a really good job for us. Got us a number 19 for a song called Hellfire. Ready for Dead did a 20, I think, and then we had a song called, can I curse on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck or Fight. That's one of the other songs, and that did really well too. It was like a number 21. Nice. And we have a new song dropping on radio right now called Last Words, and it's the best song I've ever written. It's like, man, I don't know if I want to put the song out because I want, I don't want it to be the last great song I ever write, but it's so good, and that's the response we've been getting, as you asked, has been really, really good, very positive. I got one friend said something negative about it, and he was like, well, it's kind of just a rock and roll album, like where's the prog pyrotechnics? And I'm like, well, that's not what this band is. It's a rock and roll record. And I was like, it kind of made me realize that I've evolved from my sort of like heady progressive rock style playing to more like people connected music. It's less cerebral and more like heartfelt and balls, like trying to like make something that like really has lasting value. I mean, not that prog music doesn't have lasting value or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not, at the time we started writing this music, progressive music was like dead in the water. You couldn't get people to come out to see shows that had playing on it.
Yeah.
Now, like with Instagram and, guys like Andy Wood and stuff like that, there's more of that shredding going on that's like unreal. I mean, those guys are just mind-boggling how good they are. But this band didn't evolve that way. It definitely has more of a 90s kind of vibe. And I really like writing cool parts for it and writing songs and getting that going. So, and people have been really, that's what I mean. Like, it's not musicians listening to the music. You know, it's like regular everyday civilians that love music. And that's what I've been getting from people. It's like the musicians that I know, they're kind of like, you know, they're a little more cerebral about it. They want, where's the shredding, you know? But like the people that really love lots of music tend to like this stuff. So I'm stoked. I'm actually really stoked about that.
Killer, man. Angel?
Do you prefer to do like the shredding? Because, for example, and I'll give you one case scenario. You know, with the passing of Eddie Van Halen, I remember Nuno said that, you know, with that passing, you know, it kind of feels the need just to kind of fill that void by like shredding more. So is that something that you feel that you're heading towards, guitars, or you just still prefer just your own style, per se?
I think it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of different stuff because, like, I've always wanted to be more of a shredder than I have, but I've never had a band that required me to play like that all the time. And in fact, most of the bands were like, do not play that way. You know, that's too shreddy. Take it out, you know. And that's part of living in Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is very much not about that. And so the town itself is not really, they're not very into that kind of music, technically oriented music. And so, but I am, you know, I really like that kind of playing. So like the more I've been asked to play melodically on records, at home I spend more time practicing the shred because but I also practice like learning, like I was saying with the AC/DC song earlier, I want to play in the pocket. So if I'm going to play something fast and crazy, it's got to be in the pocket, absolutely direly necessary for that music. So, and if it's not direly necessary, it goes. And so, like, I still want to have the ability to play fast and play technical parts if a gig, something like that comes up, that I need to be able to do it. But I'm really more about, like, Adrian Smith, Richie Sambora, Slash, you know, like those, they are technically able guitar players, but they tend to play for the song. And even Eddie Van Halen, you know, like, I never thought of Eddie Van Halen as like a technical player. Like, I knew he could play fast, but I was just like, well, I can do that lick. I mean, that's not hard. But what Eddie made it so great was, like, you go to try to play Eddie Van Halen live and get the same reaction they get. It's because Eddie's in the pocket, you know, all that Clapton stuff that he learned and all the Jimmy Page stuff that he learned that was just like nasty and gnarly and just bluesy and, you know, like hits you here. And then you hear something crazy and you're like, whoa, it just blows you away because that cool, crazy thing he did is perfectly in the pocket, right with the drums, right with the bass, and they sound like a real band. It's not just like, hey, I've got this really cool groove and somebody's shredding over top of it. That'll never happen in a Van Halen song. Like the song I'll Wait, that's one of my favorite rock guitar solos of all time. And he barely does anything fast at all. It's just melodic and cool in the pocket with the drums and the bass. So,
On that one.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like a cool song, but you're right about the solo. Like, he's not trying to really shred fast or anything.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not overthinking it.
No, I don't know what the story is with that solo, but it's like, it definitely has this sort of like improvised feel, but he's hearing every note as he goes along. And I mean, even like Panama or like Hot for Teacher all has that same kind of thing. It's like really melodic, really like fun oriented. So I think if it doesn't have the vibe too, that's the other thing. Like if you're going to make a guitar solo, it has to amplify that vibe of the song. So if you're playing something technical and it totally kills the vibe of your song, take it out, because no one's going to listen to it after the first time they go, wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, that was a really cool lick. It doesn't have anything to do with the mood of the tune. So I'm really all about, like, I've always been a lyricist. So like lyrics mean something to me. The emotion of the song means something to me. And, you know, I studied the complex of the complexitous music in music school, you know, like Stravinsky and Beethoven and all that stuff. But every time they did something technically cool, it all had something to do with the music that they were doing, what was going on as a whole, rather than like just some little cool part.
For sure. Absolutely.
Like kind of piggyback on what you talk about the lyrics. Because back in our time, like the '90s, I remember like the reason why I loved the Bon Jovi albums in the '90s was not so much music, was lyrics. Like
Oh yeah.
back then, we loved lyrics because we could relate to it. We didn't have the social media we can express how we're feeling. We
Yeah,
had
sure.
to do that through somebody else's lyrics and music.
Agreed.
So is that something that is just natural for you to do it as a lyricist, or that's something that just influenced you from others?
So I didn't even know I was a lyricist until I just wrote an entire page of poetry that I turned into a song. Like I studied lyrics all the time. Like my aunt and my mom always had records around. So like the records, you pull them out of the thing. What do they got? Whole sheet of lyrics. And I'm like, I didn't read Dr. Seuss at home. I read album covers, lyrics. So like, it was always like, wow, that's pretty cool. Wow. And then as I grew and got into Megadeth and like all those bands, the cool bands, they all had great lyrics. Creator had great lyrics. Dave Mustaine wrote great lyrics. James Hetfield wrote great lyrics. Like, and I agree with you about Bon Jovi for like a pop love song. Great fucking lyrics. Guns N' Roses had great lyrics too. Like, they were so nasty and dirty and shit like that. And I was 12 years old when that shit came out. Like they were sort of like the Eddie Murphy of like rock and roll lyrics, just naughty and nasty, and I loved it. So like if anybody like writes, and so I would actually like copy them off like into a notebook, and I'd read them and then I'd write them down, and I could like anytime they'd come on the radio, I'd sing every word, exactly all the time. And so when I started writing with other people who were like trying to write songs, I'd be like, that's terrible. You can't put that on a song. You can't. That sucks, Or I wouldn't say it like that, of course, but like, I'd be like, I think these lyrics still need a little work, But Jeff, my singer for the Loyal Order, he's the first lyricist that everything he writes, I just go, that's sick, Every once in a while, like a word or two or a phrasing or something, it's always like he comes up with like his writing process is lyrics last. So like he has like more melody driven first, but then because he's writing sort of to the melody, it changes the way the word comes out, and it's not like somebody who wrote a sheet of lyrics and then is now putting a melody to it.
Right.
That often sounds kind of like not natural to the song, like what's going on in the background and stuff. Anyway, he just really has, like, I really love how he does, he forms lyrics together, and the images he uses, and like the vowel sounds and the shape of things. He's very sort of obsessive about that, and as is our producer. So it's really...
As a music fan, I miss that because I love lyrics. I mean, I don't remember much stuff, but I just remember lyrics from favorite bands.
Oh yeah.
So, but I just feel like in music it's been missing.
Well, like the focus on really good lyrics, right? Oh yeah, like a poetic style to it, right? Absolutely. I mean, there are lots of bands I really like that have some of that. Like Incubus is one of them. Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. Anything Chris Cornell does is like, I love that. I love his lyrics. And System of a Down. You ever check those guys out?
Oh, yeah.
Not so much, but with Chris Cornell, I follow everything he did. Soundgarden, his solo stuff, Audio Slave.
Yeah, that dude's a real songwriter. I mean, like, people think of him as like, heavy metal singer or like the greatest singer of all time, and I'm like, fuck that. If he didn't have great songs, no one would care.
I mean, he did James Bond soundtrack.
Yeah, totally. I love that song too. That's so cool.
Sure, man, absolutely. But so other than that, how are you? We're still pretty early in 2023, but how are you feeling about the way that this year's shaping up for you?
I feel good. Like I'm kind of wearing a lot of hats right now. Working on my guitar teaching and like, recording, songwriting, making sure that Loyal Order's moving forward. Sarah Moon's moving forward. I'm considering working on a solo EP or something like that, and even re-recording some of my past solo efforts because those efforts didn't have the experience that I have now, and like they're just the songs were good, but the arrangements were a little bit sort of juvenile, you know.
Sure.
And you know, the people I was working with, while they were good at what they were doing, they weren't producers. They were more like engineers with production ideas, and you know, just really want to kind of get into a more song focused production of versions of those songs, and you know, maybe rearrange them a little bit and kind of put them out with better production, better singing, better playing, all the better the instrumental guys that you know that I've been kind of working with currently, and so that I'm in a lot of planning for that right now for the solo EP. But like the next big bunch of stuff is summer shows, and so everything's being booked right now. So, and I'm stoked that the money part of playing is coming back.
Yes.
But I'm really just like kind of feeling content with where things are going, but still working really hard every day to kind of make this thing move forward.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Good thing. Brandon,
Great
always
to chat
a
with you
pleasure,
guys.
brother.
Thank you so much.
For the phone call,
Really
man. But
appreciate
you're
it.
always welcome, man. Anything you need, anything you want to put out, I'm a phone call away.
I will, man. Oh, by the way, is this still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Check out Last Words, brand new Loyal Order song. It's on all the platforms, and then a brand new Sarah Moon song. Check out Sarah Moon's Cut and Run album and Loyal Order's self-titled record. And we just have, if you want to check out YouTube, we have a cover of a Miles Kennedy song called Summer Girl with the Loyal Order's lead singer and Sarah Moon on vocals.
Oh, wow.
And they covered unbelievable rendition of this song by Miles Kennedy from the Mayfield 4 era. So
That's awesome.
anyway, so I hope you guys check it out.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys check it out.
Hell yeah. Love you, Metal Summoners. We'll be back in 10.
Thank you guys.